that animals exist for their own reason and we shouldn't be exploiting them for our gain. So when we say about animal cruelty, if a cat or a dog is harmed, people say it's cruelty. But when it comes to other animals, cruelty is normalized. So basically we think that we are superior to animals and we are deciding which animals have the right to live, which animals don't. This form of discrimination is called speciesism. So veganism is a movement against this form of discrimination. So basically there is no moral difference between slaughtering a dog or slaughtering a goat. We have zero nutritional requirement from animals. So it is completely unnecessary to abuse a dog. Same way, it's completely unnecessary to abuse farm animals. And there are many peer-reviewed researchers which certifies that we can thrive on a plant-based diet. So we are basically promoting this movement. And so many people are not aware about the cruelty in dairy industry. In other industries, we know that chickens are exploited, chickens are murdered for meat. But when it comes to dairy, most people are not aware. For any mammal to be able to give milk, she must be pregnant. So in a dairy farm, a cow or a buffalo is artificially inseminated. She is made pregnant against her will. And when she gives birth to a baby, that baby is taken away from her so that he or she won't be able to drink the milk. So if that calf is male, it will be slaughtered immediately because the male calf won't be able to produce milk. And female calf will go through the same systematic torture like her mother. India is a leading exporter of beef and leather because of dairy industry. So most cows and buffaloes, when they stop producing milk, they are abandoned or sent to slaughter. So that's why there is no way we can ethically milk cows or buffalo because the first step itself is cruelty. So it's perfectly possible for us to live happily and healthy without harming animals. So please consider going vegan. And also, one of the leading causes of climate change and global warming is animal agriculture. More than 18% of all greenhouse gases is coming from animal agriculture. We are complaining about the heat right now. So this is one important factor that contributes. So it's not sustainable, it's not ethical, and it's completely unnecessary to consume animal products. So please go vegan.
I have a question for you, if you mind answering. What other alternative do you suppose is better for this cruelty to not happen? What alternatives to milk or dairy products do you suggest?
So when it comes to alternatives, we don't need alternatives to fulfill nutritional requirements.
Okay.
We just need to follow a whole food plant-based diet. There are a lot of things that we eat, not for nutrition, including tea, coffee, ice cream, milkshakes. We're not consuming that for nutrition, but for taste and pleasure. So if you're only concerned about nutrition, you don't need alternatives. So, but if you're not able to give away these...
Not even nutrition, as an alternative. I like drinking considerably milk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So what else am I supposed to do?
If you don't want to have it, there are plenty of alternatives like soy milk, cashew milk, badam milk, plenty of plant-based milk available. If you think these milk available in the market are slightly more expensive, you can easily make them in your home.
Okay, and another question. Coming from a country like India, we are still very rural-based country. Our economy is still very much based around agriculture and animal husbandry. So what about all the farmers for whom animal husbandry is still a method of living life? Their everyday sources of income comes from animal husbandry. And these farmers are usually from places where the land doesn't even yield. So it becomes their primary source of income. So for even those small amount of people whose animal husbandry is main occupation, what about them? If we do make a choice to go vegan, do we not consider them in the equation because they won't be able to feed their families and their small kids? So again, do you think is that something part of that you can cover in tonight's
This is not something which happened in a day. It's a gradual process.
Yeah.
So do you use a tape recorder right now?
Yeah. No, not really.
VCD?
No.
But 10 years ago you used to, right?
Yeah.
So what about all those companies who are producing black and white TVs, tape recorders? They would have found some other business, right?
Fair.
The same way there is one industry stops flourishing, another industry flourishing. Right.
So any idea you may have that what other industry can we take them to which is still convenient to them and very understanding? Because even farming today is a very intensive labor thing, and animal husbandry comparatively is much more easier for them as a primary occupation.
If you want, I'll just add on to that.
Yeah.
Few years back, slavery was allowed.
Yeah, fair.
Not only in India, everywhere in the world.
Surely.
But it had to stop. So people could have said, I will lose my job. There were people who were supplying people and other people who were using them.
Yeah, fair.
It was abusive. Similarly, this is abusive. If we talk of animal husbandry, today the milk production has gone so viral and it has become a process where it is, if the cow is not giving you 10 liters, it was giving 10 liters and today it is 9 liters, they'll just sell the cow.
I'm very aware of that.
Similarly for the calf, if it's a male calf, day one they don't want to feed it.
Fair.
So that is one of the things. And as far as alternatives are concerned, if people know how to do animal husbandry, see, they can go into environmental engineering, or they can do something for the environment where they can take care of those animals. Those animals.
Yeah.
Just see, today the main problem is artificial insemination. Because of that, we are getting an animal every year. See,
Exactly.
it is doubling every year. So how do you handle that much amount of?
Fair.
If you just keep them where they are, you stop the artificial insemination and allow the animals to grow. Taking care of that animals, and see, today most of the people go to these places where they want to have a heel cow, where you sit next to the cow and do those kind of things. There are ample of examples and there are ample of opportunities for those people. People who want them to exploit are not allowing these things to flow down. See, if you do something good, you will enjoy it yourself and it will be better for the whole society.
Fairly, thanks. I'll add on to that.
Yeah.
I've been very well aware of the vegan thing for past few years. I'm a journalist myself, so I'm very well aware of things. But since a young age, for whatever reason, I'm a pure vegetarian. I've never had egg in my life. I've never had meat in my life. I've never had any sort of non-vegetarian food. Not necessarily vegan, but a vegetarian life. And I am very happy living it. I have no nutrition problems. I fulfill my nutritions. I don't have any issues with choices that I feel to have. But with the whole vegan thing, one of the important points that I feel should be addressed more often is it's so much we want everyone to choose the alternative, but we have not made it easier yet for people to choose onto the alternatives or shift to the alternatives. It's still very much
Right now there is soy milk in most markets because there is demand.
Yeah.
Soy milk, almond milk is there in everyone.
Yeah.
So once there is demand, there will be more alternatives. And one more point about that livelihood thing.
Yeah.
So when we talk about other forms of injustice, in India it's a country where prostitution is not legalized,
Yeah.
but still there are plenty of young girls who are forced into prostitution.
Fair.
That are making lots of profit.
Yeah.
So when you talk about that form of injustice, you think about the victims, right? So even in this case, you need to think about the victims. If I'm starting a business exploiting dogs or cats, no one will say, oh, it will generate employment. Because dogs and cats are considered endangered. Same way, these farm animals also need moral consideration. There are also moral beings.
One last question. Do you think there should be more regulations by our government for people who do animal husbandry for such abuse to not happen to animals?
We are not asking for regulation. We are asking for no use and exploitation of animals.
Okay.
So it's not like we can't do it in an ethical way.
Yeah.
If they are human beings or dogs and cats,
Yeah.
you won't be talking about regulations.
Fair.
You'll be saying stop exploiting. So that's what we are saying, stop exploiting animals. No use and exploitation of animals.
Okay, thank you so much.